Hello, good people of the world. Welcome back. And tonight, many congratulations to those who are XRP holders who listen to this channel. And we're going to get into that and talk about the macro view and what's going on with the SEC and listen to Brad Garlinghouse himself at the moment when he delivered this news to the world about the SEC case being over and done with. But we're going to go over that, the larger macro view of what it means while we take this time to celebrate. Again, many congratulations. If you are an XRP holder, you've held for a long time. Many of us have been here since that day back in December when this case dropped, and it's absolutely an exhilarating moment, but we're not done with this journey yet. Again, welcome back to the channel. This is Zip with you to talk all things crypto, everything going on in this journey of crypto. I'm a utility maxi invested in not just XRP, but many great utility coins. And that's what I'm here to bring you in that macro view. Please like and share this video out, and let's grow the community together with people that resonate together, that are excited and understand where the future of this technology that we are blessed to hold is going. Now, let's listen to the moment in the video that came out today with Brad Garlinghouse announcing what happened with the SEC case.
As many of you know, just over 4 years ago, the United States SEC filed its lawsuit against Ripple. I'm finally able to announce that this case has ended. It's over. Sitting here today,
it is over. I'm not going to play this whole video. We're going to go into another excerpt of this video, but the case is over. As far as the SEC is concerned, there's some particulars that we want to discuss here and just make sure everyone is aware of. But yes, the case is over finally. Absolutely fantastic news. We knew this was coming. We didn't know exactly when this would drop, but we knew it had to be being worked in the background with everything that else that is going on in the environment at the SEC, with them dropping all the other cases. And again, this one was a little bit more difficult, and there's some more discussion on that. But let's listen to another excerpt from this video of Brad talking about crypto in general and what is going on in the environment. Again, just to remind ourselves that the future is absolutely bright and there's nothing but upward momentum. That butterfly effect that I talked to, flywheel effect, snowball, whatever you would like to call it, that momentum is continuously building. And this is one more day that leads to the journey that we're on. Let's listen to this real quick.
Way forward on crypto. Let's make the most of this. This is an incredibly promising moment. Let's come together. Let's leave the tribalism behind. But let me make it clearer that my main message, what Ripple's main message today, is about gratitude. It's gratitude to everyone who stood by us, to every Ripple employee.
Again, Brad is continuously expressing this view, and I echo that view. The maximalism, if we're XRP holders, great, but all boats are going to rise. And Brad has continuously stated that and tried to get that out to the community. He has stated time and time again, he is a BTC owner, he is BTC long, and he is crypto long in general. So again, gratitude is what we should be feeling right now, that this is done. Let's take a breath. But the battle is not over yet. And we still know along this journey, we have large exit strategies, and there's a lot more in the environment that needs to take place. And regulation is the next thing that we need. And we're going to get into some of that discussion here in a little bit. But we need the regulation. The next regulation is the next stones to be thrown. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So that's the big crypto macro view that we'll get into. Again, pat yourselves on the back if you're still holding and you've made it through this and you have not sold your assets and you've held through all this long, continuous fight. You should have a feeling of gratitude. And it's absolutely fantastic to see. Now, let's take a listen to this again. And again, the momentum and the butterfly effect of what is going on and where we are going. And that's what I want you guys to visualize, that this is just one more mile in that marathon that we're running. But let's listen to what Brad stated today in the Digital Asset Summit that he was interviewed in.
Evidence that they're leaning in a way they haven't before. And again, if there's one thing I would emphasize to this audience, we are underestimating the tailwinds from the shift of the last 6 months. The largest economy in the world has been quite hostile to our industry and is now moving the other direction quickly. And I think we underestimate those tailwinds.
Yeah.
We generally, me, myself included, generally do underestimate what is going on, because many times we are caught up in the price and we're looking at the markets. And that's why I say time and time again, I do not pay close attention to the markets. I have an exit strategy. I absolutely understand what I own in these digital assets, XRP being one of my favorites. And I know where we're going, and I've seen that momentum and that flywheel, that tailwind that is pushing us towards the finish line, as far as maybe that first exit point or whatever your strategy may be. But we have to understand, and again, look at the macro view, everything that has happened in the last several months. We saw XRP explode back in November, and we've been steady since then. We haven't seen significant dips. We've had some dips, but they have not been significant. And XRP has been faring very, very, very well. But we need to think about the tailwinds and where we're going into the future and all the momentum that is going on. Now, in this interview today, Brad was absolutely all over the place. Had an interview with Bloomberg News today. And we're going to listen to this. And basically, this is the second part of, yes, the SEC case. The SEC is done, but Ripple still has the right to go forward with their appeal. And he discusses a little bit of that here. And I just want to make sure everyone is aware of this. If you start to hear FUD that the case is not really over and Ripple is still, dealing with the SEC, the reason for that is because of the $125 million that is held in escrow. But I'll let Brad speak to that here.
Very end, to make sure even that part of uncertainty around being sold to certain investors classifies as a security. Is that what you are fighting for ultimately at this point?
Well, I mean, at this point, all we're fighting for is, do we want to fight to get the $125 million back? And look, I'll be honest, would I have walked away from that before they appealed, before President Trump put Paul Atkins and Scott Bessent and David Sachs as critical, key, very smart leaders in this industry to bring this industry back on shore? I would have walked away. Now you look at that, you're like, this case in this SEC never would have been brought. And so where we find ourselves is, great, there's a clear legal victory to say XRP is not a security. That was good for the industry. But there's pieces of it that we think could be kind of cleaned up. And the question is, do we want to fight that fight, or can we come to an agreement with the SEC to drop everything?
The whole idea that...
So again, there is still some gray area with regards to XRP being sold to institutions. And also, as he alluded to, the $125 million that at this point is still held in escrow. And if you listen, you go out and you listen to this a little bit longer, it kind of explains that a little bit more in depth. But they're going to make a decision. Ripple will make a decision whether they want to pursue their part of the appeal and run that through the judicial system, or if they could come to an agreement with the SEC to figure out some way to unravel this, to make sure that there is absolutely full clarification in some of the gray area that Brad and Ripple are concerned about. But all in all, XRP is not a security. We've known that for many years, and we know that the SEC now has dropped the appeal to even have any discussion with regards to XRP being a security as of now. So we're just going to wait to see what happens with Ripple and what they decide to do with regards to their part of that appeal. Second little part of this, and we're going to get into in what Brad discusses about the larger macro view of what is going on with the institutions and custody. Let's listen to this, and then I'll drop some alpha on what's going on and some things that came out with regards to Ripple and their custody solutions.
But you have large banks who used to say negative things, now saying positive things. I think that the two areas you'll see the most activity in the short term, one is around custody. These are banks that want to be able to custody, particularly when you see real world assets being tokenized. You need to be able to safely manage and custody that for customers and potentially for the bank. And the second is around payments. I mean, the global payments infrastructure still remains very dated. Wires are slow. I just had a wire that was sending over euros disappear for 5 days. That's surprising in a world of the internet.
Again, archaic system being modernized in the payment infrastructure. We know that Ripple XRP is leading that charge, and he talked to custody as well. And we know and we understand that Ripple has a large custody enclave in which they work to custody within Ripple and compliant, safe ways for these institutions to come on board as we're getting all the regulations. And interestingly enough, Ripple Custody also has a new trademark out there that was recently trademarked in February of this year for what? A downloadable software for custody of cryptocurrency, fiat currency, virtual currency, and digital currency, downloadable software for transmission and storage of cryptocurrency, fiat currency, virtual currency, and digital currency. So it sounds like Ripple is basically building some kind of wallet that is going to be downloadable. Whether that will be for the retail environment, time will tell. My guess is it's more for the institutional environment based upon all the custody solutions that Ripple currently has in their Ripple Custody Solution suite of tools. So again, big macro picture, everything is moving as it should be moving, and they are setting up the infrastructure. Ripple is setting up the infrastructure to work with these financial institutions now that that SEC case is out of the way. And just very fun, exciting. I hope you guys are excited as well. More news coming out. Tomorrow, it looks like President Trump, Eleanor Terrett reports, and they've been reporting this all day, that there's a big announcement by Donald Trump tomorrow for plans and the next steps in crypto policy that are coming out. And he's going to be announcing that in the summit tomorrow. So stand by. We'll bring that news to you as soon as we get it. And again, I'll be posting that stuff out on X. If you're on X, please follow me out there, and we'll build that community as well. So we'll see what the president has to say regarding crypto tomorrow as he makes an announcement on something in the environment. So all good news. And lastly, I want to leave everyone with this. Again, always giving the macro view here and the big picture. It's going to be very easy. Many of us, I won't say easy, many of us have been here for a long time, but basically Vandel's posting out here just says, what if you make $1 million in crypto, which many of you listening to this content, you are going to be in that environment very soon, I do believe. What are you going to do after that? We're always speaking to running this marathon, traveling down this journey. You've got to have a plan. Can you turn that into sustainable flow of income without eating your wealth? Again, making the money's the easy part, I will say, even though it's been a long time coming in these investments, but making money is easy. What you do with that money and how you secure that money, that is what we need to be discussing. And that's what I'm trying to drop here to give you that macro view of a passive income possibly, or taking that money, buying businesses, taking that money, securing it in insurance policies. We're going to get into some of that here in the near future, but you better have a plan for when this wealth transfer that is going on right now that we're taking part in, because we are blessed to own this technology, this crypto. You're going to have a plan going forward. So all of that wealth that comes in, it just isn't here for a year or 2 years and then vanishes, and we're back in the same situations that we're in right now. We want to grow it, sustain it, and have an exit strategy that manifests generational wealth in the future. So just wanted to end with that. And again, I hope everyone is doing fantastic. You have a great day wherever you are. Keep your heads up, keep your spirits up, because everything is absolutely moving in the right direction, regardless of what the price shows on the markets. We're looking at the macro view here, and that's what I want to just implant inside of you. And we, as crypto champions, are running that race, and we're going to finish this marathon and this journey together. But with that, again, be safe. Watch the scams out there, because it's now that this case has dropped, I've seen numerous new scams out there trying to get hold of your assets. So please be very, very careful. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Zip is out.